Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the new concealers from Lisa Eldridge. So these are her Pinpoint Concealer Micro Correcting Pencils. I picked up 3 shades, had these for about a week now, played with them basically every day. I've done some multiple wear tests, trials, so I definitely have my thoughts formed, and I'm excited to do a demo, show you how these perform, and tell you my thoughts and see if these might be worth it for you, or are they worth the hype. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I'm a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup. And I really like sparkly indie makeup and high-end and luxury formulas, and I tend to be pretty analytical in the content I make. I just try really hard to make thoughtful, analytical videos, and I have new content every week, so I'd really love to have you subscribe. Okay, so before we begin, I do not have any makeup on right now. I have a little bit of brow gel in my brows and a little bit of lip balm on, but that's it. So I did want to demo these for you and show them both on bare skin and with a skin tint. I have her skin tint right here. I have had these for about a week now. Like I said, I've used them every day and I've been really enjoying them. But I don't think these are for everyone, spoiler alert, but I knew that going into it as well. So I did pick up 3 shades. I have shades 6, 7, and 8. And I was torn on what shades. I'm glad I got all 3, and we'll get into that. I also did get the little pouch that came with them, because I also bought something else. And this is a really nice olive green pouch to carry these. I have my lip liners and stuff in here right now, but very happy I got this. I love these little bags. I like the bags that she comes out with general, but having a long skinny one for pencils, very nice. I kind of want a second one. So I think for today's video, I'm going to talk about the price and kind of break down the price of these and some initial thoughts. Then we'll move into the demo on bare skin and with the skin tint and so on, and then come back to talk more at the end, and I'll have timestamps for everything like normal. So if you want to skip just to the demo or skip to the end, you can, but if not, let's get it. So these have been talked about quite a bit since she announced them. I think most of the people I've seen that have tried them have really enjoyed them, but there's been a lot of talk about the price and all of that. So I did want to talk about that right away and then also come back to talk about it later. So these are a retractable pencil concealer. They are supposed to be waterproof, long wear, kind of matte formula. And these retail for $34. They are a little bit more expensive when you buy them elsewhere. So when I looked at like Space NK, who is one of the retailers you can buy Lisa Eldridge products from, they were $36 there. But from her website, $34. And you do get not a lot of product. It is 0.4 grams of concealer, which for a concealer is not very much. Most concealers have significantly more than that. So most concealers are liquid, so you're gonna have things in ounces or milliliters, but like the House Labs concealer that I use all the time is 7 milliliters. The very expensive Victoria Beckham one I have right here is 2.4 milliliters. This was like $70. So concealers can be a wide price range, but this is a very small amount, but part of that is also the fact that they are a retractable pencil. So this is not the first of its kind. There are other pencil concealers out there. There's the Jones Road one. There's been a few other in the past. Most of those are like a wooden pencil that you can sharpen. You get a lot more product. It's a very different component. It's a very different thing. This is definitely for spot concealing, not like doing all over your face like the Jones Road one. And there are some, I think some Korean ones out there that are a similar like retractable. They're not as precise as this, and I have seen comparisons. They're significantly like a thicker component. They're not as pinpointy as this, but they are significantly cheaper for probably the same amount, if not more product, but they do have very limited shade ranges. Like I think one that I've seen people mention a lot has 3 shades and they're all way lighter than even me. So not inclusive in any way. This is a pretty inclusive shade range, especially because most of them are more neutral leaning. And it's also something that's mostly just to spot conceal and color correct. So they're shaded appropriately. So these, like I said, these are retractable pencils. So you do have your cap that comes off here. This one's already worn down a little bit because I used it yesterday. You can see it goes up They repel and propel, so they go up and back down. I like that they're not like once it goes up, it's up. And then the bottom has a shade and then a little sharpener to make a finer point if you need to. But it is a very, very precise point, similar to an eyeliner. This is very similar to an eyeliner pencil, which is, I think, the closest thing to understand like the size of this, the shape, and like the amount that you're getting. So another eyeliner, like Lisa's herself, these are, I think, around the same price, like $30 something. You get much more. You get 1.2 grams of product, but this is something you have to sharpen. It's filled more. It doesn't have the components of a refillable one, which then, like this one is from MAC. This is a retractable one, and it is a little bit of a smaller component, but similar amount of product, similar kind of idea. So I'm just waving those around. So when I looked at retractable pencils in general to try and see like, this is 0.4 grams. And I saw a lot of comments of people saying like, that's no concealer at all. But this isn't a concealer you're putting all over your under eyes or doing your whole face with, because I will often do my face with concealer. This is specifically This is specifically designed to spot conceal little dots, like how I have this like this spot from a zit that I had a couple weeks ago, or a couple right here, or like some of these dark spots down here. It's not meant to be put everywhere. And I think most people don't do that kind of spot concealing. And so it's automatically just like not worth it for you. But if you are someone like me that does a lot of spot concealing, I was very intrigued by this. So when I looked at retractable liners, they're pretty much all eyeliners. But like I said, this MAC one, this was $25 when I bought it, and it is 0.35 grams, so a little bit smaller, a little bit cheaper, but you know, understandably. MAC isn't quite like luxury pricing. But then when I look at things like Lancome, who Lisa is the creative director for as well, that one, those are 0.35 grams of product for $28. Dior's are $34 as well, and they are 0.198 grams, so 0.2 basically grams, so half as much for the same price. But again, it's an eyeliner. But similar to eyeliner, you're not doing it all over your eye. You're doing like a waterproof line here, maybe smudging the edge, putting in your waterline. It's more of a controlled usage. And then even looking at kind of mid-tier Sephora brands like Rare Beauty or Huda Beauty. Huda Beauty, they're 0.35 grams for $21. Rare Beauty, 0.25 grams for $20. Patrick Ta, $27 for 0.2 grams. So like the amount of product you're getting in that price range, I think, especially for a luxury brand like Lisa Eldridge, it makes sense to me. I don't, you know, I wish it was a little cheaper because I love them. I will probably keep purchasing them for my own wallet. I wish they were cheaper, but I understand the price a little bit better. That doesn't necessarily mean it's worth it for you, but I understand where the price is coming from. Okay, so most days I would put my concealer on, even this concealer on, after I do my skin tint and other stuff, but I did want to show you a demo on bare skin, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit and we can do that, and then I'll put on the skin tint and we can show how everything kind of works together. Okay, so now that you're a little bit closer, like I said, I've got 6, 7, and 8. So 6 is a golden peach, so it's supposed to color correct dark circles. So if I have like extra darkness right here, or like how I always have like a little bit more darkness on the side of my nose here. 7 is a neutral shade and works pretty well in the middle of my face. Actually works pretty well everywhere. And then 8 is an olive tone, which I do have an olive undertone, and works better for the perimeter. I do have a lot of redness in the middle of my face, which is generally what I'm covering when I put makeup on. You can see this skin tone is basically the same here. I mean, there's like some shadow from my stubble, but this is all pretty much the same. And then it's just this redness all throughout right here that I'm really generally covering with the skin tint or a light layer of foundation or something that really changes the way my face looks. It's like as soon as, even a skin tint, as soon as I cover this redness, I look fully different. But I'm gonna do some spot concealing with this, then I'll put the skin tint on and we can do a little bit more. So I'm gonna start with shade 6. So you can put it back in and pull it out. I don't want to go all the way out in case it like falls out or something, but I do know with the MAC one I have had it go up pretty far, and I definitely goes down partway through here. Like I had, you know, a long stick sticking out. But this is 6. It is very precise. So like this darkness and redness I get right around my eyes. Let me grab a mirror. You can just kind of scribble. You can see 6 is a little lighter than most of my skin. So if you're a similar skin tone to me, I think 6 is a good color correcting shade and brightening shade. Lisa does say to not do like perfect circles because it makes it harder to blend, and that makes sense. So you kind of scribble. So that was just a very tiny amount, but it made a big difference already. I would normally put concealer here, my other concealer, but having a nice waterproof layer that's not gonna wear away at all is really nice. This does have a lot of coverage, and it is a matte formula. So if you have, I have pretty balanced skin. All I have on today is moisturizer and skincare I did hours ago before running errands. If you have dry skin, I would make sure you prep your skin well, because this is it's creamy, but it is a matte formula. It's gonna dry down. And I think if you have really dry skin, I would watch out for that. But you can see if I do some swipes, I'm not using a ton, and I'm not really using any pressure. And you can use a brush. Let me grab one. I do think it works better with a finger. I think the warmth of your finger really helps it melt in. But even with a brush, that looks so much better. And it doesn't look like anything. Like when I look up close, I don't see concealer, I don't see pigment. It doesn't look like I've covered anything. It just looks a little bit better, which is exactly what I want. I will generally use this like right here where I have a little bit more dark circles. Today's not too bad because I slept in. I had today off and I got to sleep in a little bit, but this is not meant to go all over under the eyes. It's too dry and matte and like long wear for that. Lisa did say or hint that another like normal under eye concealer would be coming soon. But that brightened, you can see where there's like brightness here and not here. I think it works very well. You do have to have the time and patience to do this, and I would generally even everything out a little bit first. But and then I'm gonna grab 7 and just do some other spots around my face. So like I have this former zit right here, and it just disappears things. I did notice when using this, especially after the skin tint when my skin was even, I would see a dark spot, go to fix it, and then go to blend it out and be like, wait, where was it again? Like it works very well. I still don't think I would use it to cover all. See, I have a lot of redness from shaving today. I wouldn't use it to cover all of this. That would use a lot of product and take forever. I would still use my House Labs or something else, or a foundation. But if you have little spots that aren't totally covered, because I don't like a full coverage foundation, I want my skin to look like skin. So using a light foundation or a light layer of foundation plus, or a skin tint, you can see that covered up really nicely. You can, you know, squiggle all over, just tap in. It just, it does what it advertises. It's kind of like photoshopping off, like using the spot heal tool in Photoshop, but like in real time. And I can't see that dark spot anymore. Here's like a mole I'll just cover. You can see it's a little brighter than my skin over here on the edge of my face, but it still blends in really nicely. If I do something down here, big red, that dark spot is gone. There's still some redness that I'm going to cover with the skin tint, but that individual dark spot is gone now. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit of the Skin Tint on, and then we can go back over everything. I often use the Skin Tint with my hands, but I just put a little bit on a palette since I'm not near a sink. And I'm just using a Sonia G brush, and I'm picking up some of that. I have shade T9, and I'm just going to quickly even that redness. A lot with the brush. That was like 3 drops, which I can normally do most of my face with, but with a brush it does pick up product differently than your fingers. Do you think this Skin Tint is my favorite Skin Tint I've ever used? So I just put a couple more drops on here. And I'm just gonna do my throat as well. The nice thing about the pencils is if you only have a couple dots on your throat, like there's been a couple days where I didn't have as much shaving redness, I could just conceal those specific spots and I didn't have to worry about it transferring to my clothes at all because it is waterproof and transfer resistant. And I do have some clips of wearing it after like wearing it through a gym class, and it is definitely waterproof and transfer resistant. So I will include those after this. Okay, so now that I've got a thin layer of the Skin Tint all over, most things are pretty well covered. I think there's a little bit of redness right here still. I'm gonna take a little bit of my Victoria Beckham concealer, because this is my go-to under eye concealer lately. And just put a little bit of that down. I always bring that down a little bit here. Okay, so did my concealer, really liking the way my complexion looks now. I would normally add a little blush and bronzer, and I probably will after this, but I'm gonna pick up the pencil again and just look for any spots that still are sticking out. So I've got like a little darkness right there, a little right there. I'll put a little bit more there again. A little bit right here. I've got a dark spot like right on my jawline. I'll just tap that in. And it's just a nice little final step perfecting. I mean, it is essentially just an easy way to do her pinpoint concealing technique, which she literally has trademarked. Like, it is, you know, what she's known for. Little dark spot. I have a couple of things coming out of my forehead. Okay. So I really like the way this is looking. I feel like I still have some redness right here in that nasal labial fold. And do a little more squiggle if I want. I could also pick, you know, put a little bit of a different concealer there. I'll just use a brush this time. This is an Esom brush. It's a really nice concealer brush. This is the V29. They sent this to me a few months ago, and it is very nice for like pressing product in. And see, I feel like that looks a lot better. I haven't powdered or anything, but I think my complexion looks really good. I really do enjoy these concealer pencils. The first time I used it, I did it in the bathroom, showed my husband. I was like, okay, so this is the idea. I squiggled it on, and he was like, well, now I want one. Because it works really well. Okay, I'm gonna go off camera for a second and add some blush and all of that stuff, and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I went ahead and added a little bit of my Makeup by Mario liquid bronzer around my cheekbones, a little bit of the Victoria Beckham blush in Playground because it's my most natural looking kind of nude. And then I put a little bit of my Surratt lash tint on and powdered with the House Labs powder. I just lightly dusted that all over my face. And this is the way my complexion is looking now once it's powdered and everything's kind of set in. I really like this. This is, oh, I also had a little more lip balm. This is the black lip balm from Finding a Ferdinand. I just got this from them in PR. Second day wearing it, really like this, but just Adds that like little bit of a tint to your lips. But I really like the way my complexion looks. This is what I do most days for work when I'm like, I don't have time to do eyeshadow or really anything, but I want to look presentable and like a little less tired because I don't sleep well. But I really love the way my complexion looks. I think the pencils look really believable. Like I don't see the skin tint or the pencils. I don't like my little dark spots that were around here. The dark spots on my forehead right here are gone, but I don't see the concealer. So it is exactly what I want. It is a very precise spot concealer. Before I had these, and I will still sometimes spot conceal with the House Labs concealer or something else, Kosas, especially if I'm having like a bigger area, like I just shaved, my face is really red and I've got like a red patch here because my skin hates me, I will use something like that because that is a big patch that I need to cover. But for those little individual like zits or dark spots or whatever, I really like the way my skin looks when I use these. And they do exactly what I thought they would. And like I said, I have done some wear tests. I'll insert some clips right here behind me. I've done multiple days where I wore this for 12, 13 hours and looked fine at the end of the day. Obviously, all of my makeup had started to fade, but like none of the concealer had really disappeared. I even did a Barry's Bootcamp class last week with this concealer on. I basically did this makeup for work and then left it on and went straight after work. And I have a clip here that I'll insert of my face when I got home. And I had sweat a lot. I had, you know, rubbed my face with a towel and sweat a lot because I had run on a treadmill and lift weights for an hour. And you can see where I'd put the concealer, like where I had a more dark spot right here, like around the eyes, around the nose, and like some spots where I had like, you know, discoloration that I wanted to cover a little bit more like today. All of that was still there. It survived the class. It survived sweating for an hour and rubbing my face with a towel constantly. Didn't get on my headband, nothing. So it definitely is long wear. I think she said in her video that people had worn it to like an F45 class before, which I've done those. And I can attest that it also survives a Barry's Bootcamp class. So very happy with that. And if your skin was like having a really good skin day and you just had a couple spots that you wanted to conceal, it's gonna survive that. So really, really happy with my purchase with these. But like I said, the price, the component, the like what it is, I don't think it's for everyone. So let's talk a little bit more like final thoughts. So final thoughts on these. I think it is a lovely formula. I mean, again, I don't have dry skin, so I think that is something to consider. And I'm very happy with my purchase, but again, I don't think this is for everyone. One, you have to want to spot conceal or spot conceal regularly. I think if you've never really done it, I would try with your regular concealer first. I wouldn't go out and buy an expensive luxury concealer to try to learn how to spot conceal or see if you like spot concealing. I would figure out if you like it first. But you do have to be someone that spot conceals. So a lot of people use very full coverage foundations and don't really need to, or they just put a lot of concealer under the eyes and call it a day. I did see a lot of comments on like the Trend Move posts and stuff that were like, well, I don't spot conceal, so I would never buy this. And it's like, cool. Then you are not the target demographic for this. I think so many people, there's the whole bean soup thing, if you know what I mean. But like, there's so many people who get stuck in like I see it, therefore it's advertised to me and therefore it should be applicable to me. And if it's not, then I'm annoyed. It's like, if it's not for you, it's not for you. That's fine. I also saw a lot of people say like, I would never buy a $30 concealer. Cool, don't. That's fine. Concealers exist at every price point. You can buy really cheap ones from like NYX and e.l.f. and you can buy ones that are significantly more expensive than this, like the Victoria Beckham or like the Sicily Paris or, you know, something like that. Like there's a wide range and they exist for a reason. And I also saw a bunch of comments that are like, we can't let brands charge this much money for products. As if like luxury brands and luxury goods haven't always existed. Like makeup, whether you like it or not, like is not a necessity. It is a luxury. It's not a luxury good, like it's always going to be expensive, but it is a life luxury. It is, you know, something that you don't have to exist. It is a nice to have depending on your work and your industry. It might be like something that you kind of have to do, but like it's not food, it's not shelter, it's not water. But like, I don't know, it's a luxury price, but it's a luxury brand, so like I'm not really that mad about the price. I wish it was cheaper for my own wallet, especially because I did buy 3 of them. I did get a discount because I have status with Lisa Eldridge's website, and you get like coupons with that sometimes. So I did pay, I think I paid like $32 per, but I'm not mad at the price. I will continue to use these, and I will probably purchase them when they're done, and I will buy the liquid concealer when she launches one, depending on what the formula is like. But this is exactly something right up my alley, and I think you have to just take a step back and decide if that is something worthwhile to you, and like is this something that will fit into your routine before you go ahead and purchase. I mean, that's the case for anything, let alone a luxury concealer, but like with any beauty purchase, I think, how does this fit into my routine? Is this something that I will use? Is this something useful for me? Do I need it? Those are all considerations to make, which I say all the time. But like I said, I wouldn't buy this as like I want to experiment with spot concealing. I would buy this as if that is something you already do and already enjoy, then I would do that. Or if you're in London, you can always go to one of her counters and they can shade match you and maybe show you how to use it. But like she just did at her pop-up. But I think you have to like take a step back and decide, is this something that you will actually use? I really like it. I agree with other people who say it is like Photoshop for your face. It is like the spot healing tool for your face. It melts into the skin, it disappears, and it lasts all day. So it does exactly what it was advertised to do, and it's exactly what I wanted it to do. So I am very pleased with my purchase, but I'm curious to see if any of y'all have bought it. What is your experience so far? I know some people, like I think Amanda Z bought it and said that it definitely looked dry on her skin, but she has very dry skin, so like that is also a consideration to make. But thankfully I do not have dry skin. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you already purchased it and tried it? What are your thoughts? If not, you know, is this something you would be interested in? Is this something you would never use? You know, I'd love to talk to y'all in the comments. Always be respectful, but part of what why I have this channel is I like to talk to y'all in the comments. So let me know, let's talk in the chat. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it all the way through. Remember to like and subscribe. It helps my channel so much. And I will see you all in my next video.